boxes and maps. Yeah. It's silly, but yeah, it's one of those things that you hate and you love at the same time. Building the AnyKey code, which is annoying to code itself. I have had to code 1,500 frames in Flash, where it goes, go to and stop at frame 1, go to and stop frame 2, go to and stop frame 3. Try writing 6 hours of coding. I was trained as a coder at uni. I hate coding. I hate sitting behind a desk. It wasn't the most pleasurable thing, but that sort of stuff has made my life easier. It has made it easier for actors and has made it easier for me in general. Questions? People in the front.
You mentioned earlier that people often tell you, I can't pay you much. Do you think it pays enough? And when you started out, were you like, don't have enough money, or did you have enough money when you started doing this?
My family, and I admit this, is not the most rich family in the world. We're very low socioeconomical. We're very poor. My parents were immigrants and I am first generation. And my parents always instilled in me, take the job, worry about the cash later because, money will come. Hence I work 7 jobs most of my year. Yeah. I'm currently working on 3 TV shows. That was down from 4 because I've just finished on one. I'm also teaching at 2 universities and apparently trying to write a PhD on Facebook. Yeah, that's the other thing I do. I like spending time on social media like Twitter and Facebook and stuff, so I found a way to write a PhD on it. I love scamming. When I started, I've raised my rates throughout the years. I started 8 years ago. I was charging $25 an hour. Now I'm $75 an hour, and I think that's cheap. I think the industry rate is at least $100 an hour. I've worked on a lot of lower end shows to help people out because when they work on bigger shows or have bigger budgets, they'll pay me back. I worked on a show called The Librarians, which is on the ABC. Between season 1 and season 2, they changed art departments. They went to the art department I've worked with. It was the #1 art department in Victoria. And my boss saw everything they had done and gone, no, we'll bring Jake in, he'll fix it. And the first thing he said to me was, this is the ABC. It's the ABC, they have no money. However, you figure out how much you've earned and you tell me how much that is, and I will tell you how much of that I can pay you. And luckily enough, he had budgeted correctly and I also fudged my figures to match it. But I've worked on shows where I've charged X, or I've earned X, I've told my boss this, and they've gone, we can't afford that. I've gone, okay, how much can you afford? And we've negotiated. Last financial year, I've just done my maths, I earned $48,000 from my business, which is half of my earnings, because I earn about the same amount from teaching and other things I do. It's very young for a business. It's only 6 years old. I started as a hobby 8 years ago. I was doing 1 show a year. Now I'm doing 6. If I did this full time, I could probably, and wanted to move up to Sydney or Brisbane and stuff like that, I could be doing 8 to 10 shows a year. You need to slowly evolve your business and take on work. But the other thing is you need to have a social life. I know you're gaming people, you live in darkness and your social life is the console. However, you'll realize that occasionally you need to go outside and breathe fresh air. You need to interact with people. And the hardest thing about my job is that I work from home a lot and I'm very social. I keep looking at the clock and I'm going to totally knock off Matt now. I actually theorised I'd only talk for half an hour and not worry about things. So I need time to rest. You cannot work, and the industry I work in especially is we need it right now. If you think I'm joking, I have a running joke with a friend of mine. Oh, it's Friday. I know it's Friday because I just got an email from Tao. It must be 6 o'clock. Every Friday at 6 o'clock, I get an email from my boss at Rush going, here's the stuff I need to do next episode. My favourite ones are when the day we're shooting is Monday, which means he wants to see a draft today. So I have to go home after here and do work. So you can work as much as you can, take it on. It does earn you well. I've always been in the theory, take on the job and worry about everything later. I have built systems and developed stuff for shows. I did a 3 webcam simultaneous recording and said, yeah, we can totally do that. Walked out of the meeting like this going, why did I say we could? I don't know how to do that. Do you know? And you sort of have a conversation with yourself going, I don't know how to do that. I will find out how to do that because I just promised someone I could do that. And you'd be amazed when under the deadline pressure, you can do amazing things and caffeine helps. Hope that's answered your question. Stand up, sorry, mate.
Would you ever copy-paste your code for the Indie code to other shows or...?
Yes.
Yep.
I totally use it all the time. The best thing you can do, and it's the worst thing you can do, is save everything you've ever worked on. If you're working in Maya, if you're working in Flash, if you're working on anything, just save it. I have a whole hard drive which I back up on a daily basis for fear it will blow up. When my media hard drive of 1 terabyte died, I did cry a little bit inside because I lost all my TV and music possible. If I lose that hard drive, I'm dead. Because I use code, and I did it this week. I was asked, I had to do a layout page for Bed of Roses, and it's literally, they're trying to move pictures around. I remember working on something like that 5 years ago, and I found the file and literally copied and pasted the code in. Keep all the code you have because you never know. The worst thing you do is also, and I have a friend who's an animator, he goes, I rewatched my film, that guy's a hack. That guy who did that film, hack. Total, terrible animation, things like that. You'll hate your work, but you can always learn from it and learn not to go back that way. Coding especially, older code, you'll be amazed how well it works in newer Flash. I'm using code I built in Flash 7 for Flash 10. Yeah, ActionScript is great like that. Any questions? Yeah.
Oh, hi. Was this kind of job what you wanted to when you were growing up, or was it because of gaming and stuff like that that you chose to go down this career path?
This is a question for my mother more than me, I think. My father used to say I was going to be a lawyer. And here's the reason why. He would try to punish me, like for doing something wrong, and I would argue with him so logically that there was no way he could actually go, he'd just walk off amused. So my father always thought I was going to be a lawyer. I was always going to be something in technology because at the age of 5, I took apart VCR and put it back together because Dad had lost a tape in it. I had to do the same for the DVD player he bought because he literally, I don't know how, he put a DVD in and it got above the tray. And he was going to literally throw the DVD player against the wall, and I took it apart and put it back together. I've always been a technologist. I've always played games. The best thing for me in this industry is I know a little about everything. So, and I'm in the middle now where I might be consulting on a script for Rush because they're doing a hacker who are gamers and things. And and I just throw out terms at them. They're like, we don't know what that means. It must be good for the script then. Yeah, that sounds realistic. We'll use that. I've always loved gaming. I know people who are games producers and stuff, and it's a little sad to see them when they're working on a game because they feel really like they feel dead. Because the hardest thing is I never want to go into an industry where I become a pencil pusher. Art department directors and things like that are people who want to be artists. They want to build sets so they look realistic, but when you become higher up, you become management. I'm hoping never to become management. I like to work for a living. Gaming got me into computing. Computing got me into this industry. I've always been intrigued by it. I've always been visual as well, so it's been one of those things. I've been very creative, but I can't draw. I used to describe my job as I'm an excellent forger. You know, I can see something and copy it exactly. And for this industry, that's what they want. They want a web search page. We can't use Google, so can you build us something that looks like Google? All right, fine. Alt, print screen. That's what Google looks like. Change that around a bit. There you go. I've got something. It's Moogle. Excellent. Thanks, Jake. So yeah, gaming got me into this. Understanding technology through gaming. TV. I watch a lot of TV. I have insomnia since the age of 14. I could possibly watch. No, don't cheer insomnia. It's bad. It's been useful in assignment time and my job, but no, it's bad for you. Sleeping is good. Sleep. Less caffeine, sleep. But yeah, I've watched a lot of TV and got very angry when I saw technology going. That made no sense at all. And it's the worst thing when you're watching a film. My brother's a lawyer, and when he watches lawyer shows, goes, no, you can't do that. That's not possible. I watched House with a friend of mine who's a pharmacist, and when they prescribe things, he goes, no, you wouldn't use that for this. I'm like, can you stop ruining the show for me? I don't sit there and mock the computers. We have an agreement. I don't laugh at the TV unless it's stupid. And we don't mock the computers. You don't mock the medicine. And he goes, yes, fair enough. When we were watching House on this weekend, that ad for Rush came on. And I'm close to the TV. And everyone goes, why are you kicking the telly, Jake? I've gone, it's a shit ad. It's horrible. It looks cool. It just looks bad. So yes, gaming got me into things. Question?
Kind of a two-part question. With the computer you built for Rush, did the department pay you back for that?
No. It's mine, but I rented to them.
Oh,
clever.
Yeah.
I've probably earned back the money I've spent on. They wanted to buy it off me at one point. I'll get to your second part in a second. Ross, the producer, was like to my boss, "Why don't we just buy the machine off Jake?" And my usually fixes everything. He goes, we'll just give him a couple of grand for that. So my boss said to me, how much was that machine you bought? I went, $10,000 in parts. It was 10 grand in parts and then putting it together and software. And he sent back that to Ross and Ross was like, we'll just hire it off him. Being a casual is fun. For me sometimes, not so much from my boss's budget. Part two.
And because with technology evolving and people maybe directors thinking they can do bigger and better things, do you need to be constantly upgrading this awesome computer of yours?
Ironically, the most stable system I've found on it is Windows XP. I was never going to Vista, but I'm going to try Windows 7 between seasons. I like Windows 7. It's good. I actually didn't hate Vista either, but I had a computer that could run it. My laptop, my computer are gaming machines. I hardly play games on them. They're gaming PCs, but I mostly play console games when I play video games. So I own Xbox and PlayStation and a Wii, and my housemate doesn't come home and hear me scream, I wasn't slacking off from work and playing video games. I was just started now. I haven't been here for 6 hours. Which is funny because I used to come home from work and she used to scream the same thing at me. I was not playing Tekken. Software is expensive to upgrade. I'm sure you've realised that, to own a legal copy, and I use the word legal copy of anything, costs money, and you should always own legal software. However, if someone gives you an offline backup of theirs, I have no control over that. Just like downloading is bad. Downloading is bad, internet. However, for research purposes, I need to be aware of things like that, because occasionally I'll be asked about, what's this piracy we hear so much about? So you have to know about these things. The biggest question I've been asked in the last 6 weeks, Jake, is the iPhone 4 any good? Mostly by the camera department. And why don't we have an iPad? Because we have a PC tablet on set, which I'm forcing more and more on the directors, because I have a good working relationship with Sam, who's the actor, and he hates sitting behind the desk. And I've gone, well, we brought this tablet PC in so we can fake that you can do anything by walking around. And so I was being more forceful on Friday because I could get away with it. I'm like, well, why don't you just take up the PC and walk over there, and therefore she can do this. And the director was like, that sounds great. Jake, have you ever thought about directing? I've gone, no, I don't want your job. Too much work. So it helps because it gets people moving and stuff. But no, we were going to get Microsoft Surface, but Microsoft reneged on the deal. And that would have been interesting to play with more. I wanted it because I haven't had a chance to play with the toy yet. But I think it'd also be good as an interactive multi-touch thing. But you have to be aware of technology. The most common question I get asked on the set is, oh, I hear you're the computer guy. I have a problem with my computer. I brought it down from Sydney and now it doesn't sync up with my printer. I've gone, it could be a driver's issue. Oh, I thought it could be that. Oh, thanks. first day on set on a film once, I got asked 17, how do I fix my computer questions? The other question I often get is, I see you use a PC, why don't you use a Mac? Macs are better. And then I have, Macs are fine if you want to be a Mac user. Macs are perfectly fine if you want to email, surf the web, and have shiny things in your life. I won't deny it. I own an iPhone because it's shiny. And Blackberries are for people who work. I don't really work. But yeah, everyone in the TV industry is a Mac, and so it's always like, why do you have a Mac? Why don't you have a Mac? Why don't you have a Mac? Why don't you have a Mac? Macs are better. No, they're not. Why? You can argue with the IT person about what's a better computer. Interesting.